Is now in effect. Israeli forces preparing for the return of hostages as thousands of Palestinians head back to their homes in Gaza. But first, a coastal storm threatening the tri-state with heavy rain and strong winds. We're tracking the timeline of this developing nor'easter. Friday, October 10th. Welcome to the Noon, everybody. I'm Antoine Lewis in today for Bianca Peters. Severe coastal flooding also a concern this weekend. And for the very latest, meteorologist Mike Woods is standing by in the Weather Center with this. Hi, Mike.
Hey there, Antoine. Yes, and that storm's still coming together over the southeast coast of the U.S. Out near Florida. Today, what we have going on out there, we're just kind of getting things set. We've got a lot of sun, cool day coming through, but that coastal storm is just now starting to develop. What we will see coming through, wind gusts up to 50 to 60 plus miles per hour, along with moderate coastal flooding and ocean overwash. These things are coming at us as we get into Sunday, into Monday. Right now, it's still clear, it's still cool. On our way back up, it's going to be a little warmer than yesterday. 60 Central Park, 61 degrees out at Newark. Winds are now starting to come in from the southeast, but only at around 5 to 10 miles per hour. But high pressure has kept us cool and dry. There is what's going to be our tropical, our coastal storm, nor'easter that's starting to develop in the southeast Atlantic waters. First, it comes to the Carolinas, and then it comes up this way. We'll start to see the clouds increase tomorrow during the day, and then it looks like the rain chances will be picking up in the overnight hours. But these are just some of the things that are being put out there already. For Sunday, we do have a high wind watch with the wind speeds up between 25 to 35 miles per hour all throughout Long Island, Brooklyn and Queens, Nassau County, and along the Jersey Shore. And gusts are getting up to 60 miles per hour. Coastal flooding will also be another issue. We're talking about high tides coming in about 1 to 2 feet above normal, along with wave heights that are well above normal at that time. So the storm is just coming together. Will it be impacting for us for about 3 days? I'll have more on the forecast of that storm coming up for you in just a little bit here. Antoine?
All right, Mike, thank you. Developing right now in the Middle East, this is a look at Gaza, where thousands are returning to their homes now that the ceasefire agreement between Israel and Hamas is taking hold. It comes as Israel prepares to receive the remaining hostages in the few coming days. Fox 5's Linda Schmidt is in the newsroom with details on the Middle East at this hour. Hi, Linda.
Yeah, hi there, Antoine. Well, you know, the two-year war had displaced about 2 million Palestinians, and they had to relocate numerous times to various areas of the Gaza Strip for their safety. But as you can see, the video right here beside me, thousands are beginning their journey back home. Now in Israel, people are celebrating and they are praying for the safe return of the 48 remaining hostages. Israel's cabinet has approved the first phase of the ceasefire deal. The fighting has now stopped. This deal was brokered by President Trump, and there are billboards in Israel thanking the president. Egypt, Qatar, and Turkey also played a major role in persuading Hamas to accept this deal. And as we said, thousands of Palestinians who had been displaced to other areas in Gaza during the war are now walking back home. Now, under the first phase of this agreement here, Israeli troops have also now withdrawn to new positions in Gaza, and Israel will be releasing about 2,000 Palestinian prisoners. 5 border crossings are expected to reopen, which will allow aid to flow into Gaza. And Hamas now has 72 hours to release the remaining hostages. If that does not happen, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says Hamas will be completely destroyed. Also today, the U.S. is sending about 200 troops to Israel to help monitor the flow of that humanitarian aid into Gaza, and they are going to be joined by teams from other countries, both governmental and private, to help stabilize the region. President Trump says he is also planning to travel to the Middle East over the weekend. Antoine, back upstairs to you.
All right, this is historic. Thanks, Linda. Breaking news out of Orange County. Authorities are charging a 13-year-old with murder in the death of an 11-year-old boy. Now, here's what we can tell you. The younger boy was shot and killed in Newburgh yesterday morning. Police say they recovered the firearm and that 3 juveniles of interest were identified and located. According to authorities, the victim and suspect were not related. Details of the shooting have not yet been released. The 13-year-old is facing second-degree murder charges. Also developing right now, Democratic New York City mayoral candidate Zohran Mamdani speaking out against the indictment of New York Attorney General Letitia James today. Fox 5's Stephanie Bertini is live in Lower Manhattan, where the Assemblyman is now talking. Hi, Steph.
Hey, good afternoon, Antoine. So the Assemblyman, also mayoral candidate for New York City, standing behind me in a news conference alongside other elected officials, and they're speaking out defending New York Attorney General Letitia James this afternoon. This comes in response to the Justice Department's indictment of James, a move Mamdani and others are calling a weaponization of the federal government. Attorney General James in the past held Trump accountable, including in a civil fraud case. James was indicted yesterday in a mortgage fraud case. She's charged with bank fraud and making false statements to a financial institution in connection with a 2020 home purchase in Virginia. Now, the Justice Department, now under the Trump administration, brought the charges forward. James calling the indictment baseless yesterday.
These charges are baseless, and the president's own public statements make clear that his only goal is political retribution at any cost. The president's actions are a grave violation of our constitutional order and have drawn sharp criticism from members of both parties.
Now, this is a scheduled campaign event for Mamdani. There are no other scheduled campaign events for other mayoral candidates today on the books. We're following this. I'll get back to you a little later with an update. Back to you, Antoine, inside.
All right, Steph, we'll take it. Thank you. Tensions rising in the race for New Jersey governor. Republican candidate Jack Ciattarelli's campaign announcing plans to sue his rival, Mikey Sherrill, for defamation. All this over statements she made during this week's gubernatorial debate. Sherrill claimed that Ciattarelli killed tens of thousands of people by profiting off the opioid crisis through the work of his former medical publishing company. On Good Day, attorney Arthur Aidala described the chances of this suit being successful.
Defamation against a public figure is hard to begin with. In a political campaign, it's even harder, because the foundation of our politics is to let people speak freely about what their thoughts are, what their ideas are, and we don't want to stifle that. So here they would have to prove actual malice, that she had a meeting and they said, let's bring this up. We know it's not true, but let's bring it up just to hurt him with the electorate. And it's a very high standard, and judges are not. The United States Supreme Court said this years ago in a New York Times case. We're not going to try to stifle public figures, especially ones who are running for office. And we're going to allow this kind of silly speech, if you want to call it that, to go forward.
Both candidates are running to replace outgoing Democratic Governor Phil Murphy. Recent polls show a close race, with Sherrill having a slight edge. We're following more developing news now at noon, the latest from our nation's capital as the government shutdown sees its 10th day. Plus, the very latest from the Philippines after powerful earthquakes strike the region. 12:07. We'll be right back.
One.
Developing right now, the latest on the government shutdown, which is now in its 10th day. House Speaker Mike Johnson saying he won't call House lawmakers back to Washington until after the shutdown ends. He said they return when, as he put it, Senate Democrats turn the lights back on. Speaker Johnson had canceled previous House votes scheduled for September 29th and September 30th. He also canceled all votes set for this week. This comes as the Senate Republicans have brought the bill ending the shutdown to the floor 7 times in the last 2 weeks. The Democrats rejected it every time. They want Republicans to extend health care subsidies. Also developing, National Guard troops are expected to begin patrolling in Memphis. This after a federal judge in Illinois temporarily blocked the deployment of troops in the Chicago area. It's unclear what the hundreds of Guard members from Texas and Illinois will do in the meantime. The president has talked about invoking the Insurrection Act to deploy active duty military to states around the country. Still at noon, we're breaking down recent concerns over the Central Park redesign, plus honoring the NYPD's finest 4-leg friends. Look at that picture. We're showing you a special blessing of the animals. We'll be right back. This morning, Families for Safe Streets gathering on the Upper West Side calling on Councilmember Gail Brewer to sign legislation bringing what's known as universal daylighting to the area. Now, this is when parking spaces are eliminated within 20 feet of an intersection to make it safer for pedestrians and cyclists. Brewer recently reversed her support of universal daylighting. Those opposed to it say it eliminates much needed parking spaces. We reached out to Councilmember Brewer but have yet to hear back. The Central Park Loop is being redesigned, focusing on safety improvements for both pedestrians and those on bikes. New lanes separate the two on the road, but some say the change is making it dangerous for people who cross the path. Fox 5 Sharon Crowley talked to parkgoers about collisions and near collisions.
Navigating Central Park safely can be challenging as so many cyclists, runners, walkers, and now e-bikes and e-scooters share the road. The New York City Department of Transportation is trying to make things safer here. The NYC DOT recently renewed a pilot redesign plan to create new traffic signs to better direct visitors on 2 feet or 2 wheels. However, a group of safety advocates say the DOT's project is not working, especially the part of the pilot program that permits e-bikes and scooters on park drives.
I believe that e-bikes should be banned from parks, not just Central Park, but every single park in this city.
The New York City E-Vehicle Safety Alliance gathered outside the Central Park Conservancy headquarters on Fifth Avenue to raise their concerns. They want all e-vehicles banned from Central Park and all public parks in New York City.
Our parks are the only place that New Yorkers have to escape the e-bike crisis.
Many gathered here holding pictures of those injured in a collision in the park with an e-vehicle. They shared this video with us. They say shows just how dangerous it can be to try to cross the road inside Central Park, even with the DOT's new signs urging cyclists and e-bikes to give pedestrians the right of way.
I was hit by an electric scooter in Riverside Park. I was biking. I used to be a huge biker, and then this happened to me. I have 5 titanium plates. I had 2 different surgeries.
The DOT says that since the pilot program started, they have not seen any uptick in reported pedestrian injuries in Central Park. The DOT says so far this year, 21 pedestrians have been injured in Central Park. 20 people were hurt here last year and 21 in 2023, when the redesign plan first started. But safety advocates believe the DOT's numbers do not reflect what's actually happening.
90% of our victims do not have a police report. Therefore, their accident doesn't show up on DOT stats.
Those who are working for more safety here in Central Park say they're not giving up. They're working to change laws in City Council and even in Albany. They want to permanently ban e-bikes here in Central Park. Sharon Crowley, Fox 5 News.
NYPD horses and canines were on hand this morning at the Blessing of the Animals at Floyd Bennett Field. This specific blessing anoints NYPD horses and canines. Now the blessing is in honor of St. Francis of Assisi and looks to take care of our animals.
You know, we don't realize how important our animals, our service dogs are to the city and to the NYPD. And we want to make sure that they're okay, that they're safe, and they're preyed upon.
Monsignor Robert Romano presided over this morning's blessing. All right, 12:17, let's turn to weather now because, Mike, understand you've got some coastal things you need to share with us that are in store this weekend.
Yes, a coastal low that's going to be coming to us here, Antoine, and it's mainly coming through Sunday into Monday. The timing is still a little tricky at this point in time because the forecast models are shifting back and forth. At one point, it looked like it would be here early Sunday morning. Now it seems to be pushing it back a little bit later, but this is something, the reason we have to watch it. Now, when we started off today, we had some pretty chilly stuff. We had frost advisories and freeze watches that were in effect for us here in the tri-state. This is what we had for your lows. Look at that. We dropped all the way down into the upper 20s to low 30s, even 46 for us here in the city. The coldest start that we've seen in quite a while, but again, dry. But now we're going in another direction. So let's check out the rain stats. Since January 1, 30.29 inches of rain, still about 8¼ inches below normal. So it's been dry for a while. So we're really talking about the rain or lack thereof and where we stand with the drought conditions. So the drought monitor, this is the latest update as of yesterday afternoon. We do now have not just a dry, but a severe drought for parts of northern sections of New Jersey, and it's a moderate drought for the bay shaded areas, and that now includes all of Suffolk County here and a good part of northern sections of New Jersey, and then everyone else. It's at least dry, as our rain in the last several weeks and months just has been so lackluster. And it's certainly dry right now, but we do have a little promise of rain, a big one actually, with that coastal low that's developing down to the south. It's down to the south of the Carolinas. Not here yet. We're starting off with a clear sky. High pressure is still in control. The core of the cold air is sitting on top of us as of this morning, but right now that air is moderating and we have a wind direction change, so that's why it's actually a little warmer right now. 60 in Central Park, 61 degrees out at Newark, 57 degrees in Sussex. The wind direction now coming in from the southeast at around 5 to 10 miles per hour, so that's going to bring in slightly warmer air. The last couple of days we had that north wind, and that's why it was so cold, and even this morning. Now things have shifted up on us. Here's a look at the futurecast. The localized one keeps us fairly fairly clears. Our high temps head back up into the lower 60s later on this afternoon. But when you have the southeast wind, it is starting to bring back the warmer temperatures. So that's why it's milder today. Same thing goes on in the overnight hours. See how we continue to get that south wind? We're also picking up on more cloud cover. So you're going to have more clouds going into tomorrow, and about a 20% chance that you'll see a few sprinkles popping up around town. I don't think you'll get much going on rain-wise tomorrow, but your highs will be getting back up into the upper 60s, right around 68 degrees for a high tomorrow. Now the clouds thicken even more so going from Saturday into Sunday. Now this particular model wants to shift up some of those heavier showers as we head toward midday for you on Sunday. At one point it looked like it would be starting in the morning. Now it's starting to push it in about midday with some of the heavier pockets of rain. Also some gusty winds coming in. We're talking about sustained wind speeds from the northeast at around 25 to 35 miles per hour. So that's what we have set up as that coastal low cranks up the coast. But it takes a while to get here. High of 63 today, and that rain comes through for us Sunday into Monday, and it wraps up and gets out of here by Tuesday. 2 to 3 inches of rain helps us, but doesn't get us out of the drought situation here. Antoine?
All right, Mike, we'll take it. Thank you. Developing right now, 2 powerful earthquakes have hit the southern Philippines. The first registering 7.6 magnitude, the second a 6.8. The aftershock sent passengers screaming through a nearby airport. Authorities have ordered some locals to evacuate nearby coastal provinces due to tsunami concerns. The Philippines still recovering from a 6.9 earthquake back on September 30th that killed at least 74 people and displaced thousands in the central province of Cebu. Venezuelan opposition activist Maria Corina Machado has won this year's Nobel Peace Prize. Machado, the former opposition presidential candidate in Venezuela, was praised for being a, quote, key unifying figure in a political opposition that was once deeply divided. The chair of the Norwegian Nobel Committee said despite serious threats against her life, she has remained in the country, which is a choice that has inspired millions. He went on to say that when authoritarians seize power, it is crucial to recognize courageous defenders of freedom who rise and resist. Next at noon, it's a screen time struggle. We're breaking down new research suggesting how parents are having problems managing their kids' time online. We'll talk about it. We'll be right back. In health news, listen to this. Drinking bottled water may pose serious health risks. So researchers from Concordia University found that an average person ingests between 39,000 to 52,000 microplastic particles a year. And if you drink regularly from a single-use plastic water bottle, you could actually be swallowing an extra 90,000 microplastics compared to those who drink tap water. Scientists say the tiny plastic particles can enter the bloodstream and can accumulate in vital organs, tissues, and the brain, potentially exposing people to cancer, infertility, heart disease, lung conditions, and other serious health risks. New research suggests that parents are having trouble managing their kids' use of electric devices. The Pew Research survey found that 42% of parents said they could do a better job limiting screen time. The survey also found that 58% of parents believe they are doing the best they can, while 39% say that they are more strict than other parents. Participants provided reasons why they let their children use cell phones, with most saying it's so children can contact them, as well as for learning and entertainment. Okay, Lay's potato chips are getting a makeover as it looks to shed its junk food label. Starting later this year, the company's yellow chip bags will include the phrase "made with real potatoes." Some varieties of Lay's will also be switching from seed and corn oils to olive or avocado oil. Barbecue flavors will also be reformulated to remove artificial coloring. This comes as Lay's has seen its sales growth slow in each quarter since 2022. Delta saying premium travel is set to overtake coach sales next year. The airline revealing that in the last quarter, ticket revenue from its premium cabinet seats rose 9% from last year to nearly $5.8 billion, while main cabinet ticket revenue fell 4% to just over $6 billion. CEO Ed Bastian said that he's seen no sign of premium travel demand slowing down for the rest of this year, as well as into next. Food banks in our area are sounding the alarm. And next at noon, the issues some organizations say they're facing amid federal cuts and the government shutdown. Then later on, move over buzz cut, there's a new hair trend among young men. We're telling you all about the rise of the mini mullet. We'll talk about it when we come back. It's 12:30 on your Friday. Welcome back to the noon. We've got a lot more coming up. It's National Filipino-American History Month. And to celebrate, East Village restaurant Knox will be here to make a traditional Filipino dish with a twist. But first, let's get another live look outside on this Friday. As we brace for some severe weather, we're tracking a nor'easter headed for this weekend. Michael is joining us with the very latest on that. Hi, sir.
Hello there, Antoine. Yeah, you wouldn't know that anything's going on from that shot, right? It looks like a gorgeous-looking Friday. Started off cold, but we're recovering nicely as we get into the afternoon. Let's take a look at the almanac and show you what's normal and where we are. So for the 10th of October, 67 is your normal high temp. We'll be a little short of that at 63 degrees. We did drop it down to around 44 earlier this morning, so that was your low temp. And it was a chilly start. We haven't seen temps like that in quite a while, 5-6 months, something like that. Anyhow, we've got a mainly clear sky here right now. We're still lacking the rain. The storm is coming together down near Florida, off the east coast of Florida, but still not bringing us impacts yet, but give it a little time, it'll be here. We've got 61 out at Newark right now. Same thing for you, Islip, 57 degrees in Bridgeport. So you're recovering, and actually at this point, it's now warmer than it was yesterday at the same time because the sun's had a chance to do its thing, and we have a wind direction change. So we're anywhere from 1 to 5 degrees warmer now than it was at the same time yesterday. There's that wind direction change. Yesterday it was a north wind that came from Canada, brought in the cooler air. Now it's more of a southeast wind coming through at 5 to 10, and that starts to pull up some of the warmer air from the Carolinas and the southeastern states. It's got a little more tropical nature, and that's the reason it feels a little warmer. The dew points are going up. But yeah, high pressure is about to lose its gig here, hanging out over the northeast, keeping us high and dry. We've got this trough of low pressure, which will become our next coastal storm that we're focused in on. It develops right along that trough here later this afternoon. Then it starts to creep up the coast, first toward the Georgia coast and then over to the Carolinas with some fairly heavy rain and wind. A lot of that is offshore, but still the coastal area is getting beat up. So are the beaches and the Outer Banks. That's going on this afternoon into tonight, and then tomorrow it's starting to work its way through the mid-Atlantic right toward us here in the tri-state. By Sunday morning, we're starting to see the first of the showers heading into South Jersey, and then boom, we get hit with the heavier showers by, it looks like, Sunday late afternoon into the evening. And it's not just one area of low pressure. There's actually a couple of them that are going to work together and keep that coastal low going. With nor'easter coming on by, you get high winds. That's why we have the high wind watch going into effect for you through Sunday, and that means wind speeds at around 25 to 35, but gusts up to 50 and 60 coming through out in their coastal areas. That's mainly Long Island and along the Jersey Shore. Coastal flooding issues with tides running around 1 to 2 feet above normal, along with heavy rain out there too, 2 to 3 inches of rain coming through with that nor'easter passing by over about a 2 to 2.5 day stretch. Checking in on the tropics, we have Jerry out here in the Atlantic waters here. Right now the wind speeds are at 50. It's kind of been torn up by the jet stream. Looks like it's going to be hooking up and out. So even though it's active out there, it's not really having impacts on us here in the tri-state region. So far, no advisories, but as the weekend goes on, the high wind watches as well as the coastal flood advisories, they're going to be popping up with this storm coming to town. But it's sunshine today, high of 63. Rain comes through Wednesday or Sunday into Monday on Columbus Day, and even on Tuesday morning, you still have some showers left over for us here. Antoine.
As long as they hurry up and move out.
I know. 2.5 days, a little too long.
All right, Mike, thank you. Food banks are sounding the alarm about a lack of resources to feed those in need. They say that they're dealing with federal funding cuts on top of the government shutdown, which they expect will increase the need for their services. Fox 5's Jody Goldberg got an up-close look at the issues that are being faced.
Inside Island Harvest's warehouse in Melville, volunteers and staff pack boxes of food. Pallets are loaded for delivery. It's a familiar scene as we head into the holiday season, but feeding Long Island's most vulnerable is getting harder.
The nonprofit sector seems to be the sector that gets cut first.
According to Island Harvest, federal funding cuts will soon impact about 6,000 low-income seniors across Long Island, older adults making less than $19.60 a month. Since the COVID-19 pandemic, many of these seniors have depended on a monthly box of food to get by. But with an additional $4 million in federal funding cut, the nonprofit says the program's future is now uncertain.
We have enough food to run this program for another 2 weeks.
Island Harvest is now providing more than double the food they once did. With no end in sight to the government shutdown, keeping up will be a daily struggle.
We're going to have to find more food at a time where we've already lost funding to support the community.
More than 200,000 Long Islanders rely on emergency food assistance each year, according to Feeding America. And once federal dollars dry up, food banks will have to find new ways to meet that need. Long Island Cares over in Hauppauge anticipates thousands will feel the impact firsthand as paychecks are delayed and more people turn to pantries.
People may find it really difficult to buy culturally appropriate food and celebrate the holidays with their families that means the most to them.
The TSA, the IRS, the Coast Guard, air traffic controllers, these people are going to start hurting once their paycheck doesn't come through. We're hoping that everything that's been ordered for the fourth quarter will arrive here in time for the holidays.
So many people are depending on them.
We're going to make it work. We have to.
On Long Island, Jody Goldberg, Fox 5 News.
Still to come, big news for No Doubt fans. What you need to know about the group's upcoming residency at the Las Vegas Sphere. And we're one-on-one with actor Jeremy Allen White to hear about his upcoming role as the boss. We'll talk about it. We'll be right back. Pop music group No Doubt is getting together for a residency at the Las Vegas Sphere. 6 shows are slated for May of 2026. The limited engagement follows the band's performance last year at Coachella. It was the first time the group performed together since 2015. Pre-sale for the shows began on October 15th. General tickets will be available on Ticketmaster 2 days later. Tickets for the movie Wicked for Good are now on sale and are already breaking records. Deadline reporting that the highly anticipated follow-up to 2024's Wicked just became Fandango's best first-day ticket pre-seller of the year. That surpasses Taylor Swift, the official release party of A Showgirl. The film is also the best PG-rated first-day ticket pre-seller of all time on that platform, surpassing Frozen, The Lion King, and K-pop Demon Hunters sing-along event. Wicked for Good is set to hit theaters on November 21st. We're also getting a first look at the new Game of Thrones spin-off, A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms.
Sometimes I think I buried my courage alongside the old man. And in every man, there are many men. So be brave.
just. Be tall.
So this series takes a look at the story 70 years after House of the Dragon and 100 years before the events of Game of Thrones. A panel at Comic-Con yesterday discussed the series bringing a new tone of action, perspective, and class experience to the world of Westeros. Much of the series was filmed in Northern Ireland. A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms is based on the George R.R. Martin Tales of Dunk and Egg book. The series will be a 6-episode season and is set to premiere on January 18th. Les Mis is coming back to New York as part of a world tour. Les Miserables, the arena concert spectacular, will play Radio City Music Hall from July 23rd through August 2nd. Fans can sign up for pre-sale tickets at nyc.lesmis.com. They go on sale October 22nd. General sales start October 24th on Ticketmaster. Les Miserables last played Broadway in 2016. The London production just entered its 41st year. The Bear star Jeremy Allen White is becoming the boss in Springsteen, Deliver Me From Nowhere. Most of the movie was filmed in the New Jersey towns that Springsteen grew up in and visited. Ryan Christopher went down the shore to Asbury Park to catch up with the star at the Stone Pony.
We're here in Asbury Park on the shore here in Jersey, and just behind me, the legendary Stone Pony, of course. This is what helped to kick off Bruce Springsteen's career. Iconic, and we're going inside to chat with the one and only Jeremy Allen White, who is totally transformed into the boss. Jeremy Allen White, you crushed it. You became Bruce Springsteen. After like 2 minutes of watching the movie, I'm like, this isn't Jeremy Allen White, this is the boss.
Oh, that's very kind.
One way that you're able to connect is to be in the room where it all happened right here, the Stone Pony. This is legendary. You have the Asbury Park carousel, which I know you guys had to actually bring in a carousel.
That's right.
My cousin lives down the street, so she was creeping on you the whole time.
Oh, wow, no
Just
way.
saying, shout out to cousin Sharon.
Nice.
But she said that she saw you on set with Bruce and that he was actually there with you for much of that. So what was that experience like, being able to retell such an intimate moment in time in his life with a music legend just behind you and sort of watching you recreate that?
Yeah, it was delicate. I think at that point, you know, he'd been around a lot. I remember the first week was hard because I was finding my footing and you know, like every job, your first couple days, you're still figuring stuff out. I don't care who you are, but you're still sorting things out. And then to have the man that you're portraying also there, those insecurities only get sort of magnified. You
Who
know what I
happens to be
mean?
Bruce Springsteen.
Who happens to be Bruce Springsteen.
No big deal.
Exactly, yeah. I'm reenacting real moments in real places with the real person in this situation.
Right there,
yeah. So it was very delicate, you know, I had to be very careful. I felt protective of myself and I felt protective of Bruce, you know, the whole time. And I think he felt, you know, a similar way, but there was also like, those moments felt very sacred for that same reason. And I felt like to have him as a guide throughout was really important.
I was going to ask, because you had to learn to play guitar, how to sing for this movie, and not only how to sing like Bruce Springsteen, which is a very specific, growly, difficult voice to encapsulate. So when you were recording on that 4-track recorder for the film, did you kind of connect with him, and did that process help you just in learning guitar? Like, did you relate to Bruce and what he was going through in that time in his life?
Yeah, absolutely. Just like a very good script, you know, when you read a great script and you perform a great script, it's very easy to be honest. It's very easy to do a good job. And I found with Bruce's writing, the same thing, you know, as I started singing, trying to make sense of it for myself, it became a lot easier. And then sounding like Bruce or trying to find his tone or rasp, all that stuff then came later. But first was just, how can I connect to this music for myself?
All right, next at noon, we hope you are hungry because we're in the kitchen with the chef from Knox Restaurant. There he is, Eric. He's going to show us how to make a traditional Filipino dish. Look, he's making noise and everything too, with a twist. We'll be right back.
today.
It is National Filipino American History Month, and to celebrate, we're showcasing dishes from a restaurant called Knox in the East Village. It serves up Filipino comfort food, and right now we're joined by its head chef, Eric Valdez. Eric, thanks for being here.
Yeah, pleasure.
Kumusta? You weren't ready for that. Tell us, how'd you get into cooking, man?
Yeah, so it's just the love of food growing up and seeing my grandmother and mother cooking. So that's what inspires me, and creating something new every day. That's what keeps me going.
All right, so now you're going to make a dish for us? I'll
Yeah,
let you do your thing while you explain what's going on.
So it's October. It's Filipino American History Month. So there's no better way to celebrate it than doing barbecue.
Okay.
So I'm doing
I'm good with that.
What we do in the restaurant. So we're doing the banana ketchup glaze.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
which means?
So it's just like a sweet, tangier, fruitier version of a tomato ketchup.
Okay.
So.
All right, so now, as you're doing your thing, explain to us what you have in there. I see prawn.
Yeah, so the oil that we're putting is annatto oil.
Okay.
So we infuse annatto seed in the oil. Then you have your aromatics, just basic aromatics, ginger, garlic, a little bit of chili, onions.
Okay.
So we put that in there. There you go.
There is the sizzle. This is like a banana leaf.
Yeah.
Oh, it is.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's banana leaf, yeah. So we just cook it down, let it cook for a bit. Then what we have over here is a mixture of, this is the base of the sauce. So it's a mixture of tomato paste, roasted bananas, soy sauce, calamansi, vinegar, and all of this stuff. So
Smelling really good. The aromatics, as you pointed out. Now, what defines Filipino cooking, Eric?
Yeah, so Filipino food, a lot of us are not familiar, especially here in the United States. So it's very rich.
Okay.
A lot of cultural influences, because Chinese, American, and Japanese conquered us.
Okay.
So that's a lot of influence. So very rich, a lot of stories behind it.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's what we are trying to do at Knox. So we serve a lot of comfort dishes like adobo, kare-kare, but using the best ingredients that you have in the market.
All right. Now, did you study abroad? Did you come here and study?
Yeah, I studied back home in the Philippines. I studied management school over there, then took up culinary school. Then 10 years ago, I moved here in New York.
Okay.
Then started cooking.
Glad to have you here. It's smelling very, very good. So, all right, the sauce is now working. Then what do we do next?
So we just simmer it down until it's very thick. So then I have varieties of dishes for you to taste.
Okay.
Yes.
I'm ready.
So we have our caldereta lamb chops. So it's charcoal grilled lamb chops with roasted tomato sauce and with confit vegetables on the sides.
Oh, okay.
Then you have charcoal grilled prawn with some garlic sauce on top.
Now, the prawns don't go into this sauce,
No,
do they?
so yeah. So we're using.
You want me to hand it to you?
Yeah. So this is our liampo, which is a grilled pork belly.
Okay.
So it's marinated with soy sauce, lemon soda overnight, a lot of garlic. Then we brush it with a glaze of banana ketchup. Then we put it in a grill.
So actual bananas in it? Or
Yeah, we roast. So we have yellow bananas, then we roast it.
Oh, okay. Y'all want to try that
So
one.
it's very sweet, fruity, but it has the right balance for meats like this.
Now, where is the restaurant located?
Yeah, so the restaurant is located in East Village. It's on First Avenue. So we open Tuesday to Sundays, and we do brunch on the weekends.
Let me try the prawn, because I know you're still doing that one.
Here you go.
Let's see. All right, so again, the address is in the East Village. Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry for using my... you got
there
me.
you go. Then,
Thank you.
we're doing this chef series in October. So we're bringing in Filipino chefs from the Philippines.
Good. Good, real good.
Thank you so much. Yeah, so for next week, we're doing this Filipino chef series, and we're bringing in Chef Stefan from Metis.
Okay.
And please check our IG page, Knox NYC, for more details.
All right, and Knox is N-A-K-S, correct?
N-A-K-S,
Gotcha.
yes, sir.
Nice to meet you, Eric.
Thank you, sir.
We'll be right back. So there's a new hairstyle becoming more and more popular with young men, from Paul Mescal to Jacob Elordi. Fox 5's Jessica Formoso brings us the rise of the mini mullet.
I would say that is probably one of our highest booked services.
When it comes to hairstyles, it seems like the mini mullet is shaping up to be much what's in style.
I'm seeing mini mullets daily, up to, I don't even know, probably 10 a day I'm seeing easily, especially at our East Village location. It's very busy.
The 80s rebellious mullet making a comeback in 2025. This time more refined, more subtle, more tamed.
Funny because it kind of, because of the other mullets, like the Billy Ray Cyrus mullet or the Joe Exotic mullet. So I feel like now when people say mullet, it's kind of could be something crazy, or it could be just like a fun professional haircut as well. And it's just something a little bit different than your usual classic cut.
Celebrities like Austin Butler and Paul Mescal making the mini mullet popular among millennials and Gen Zers.
It's not only just looks really great, I think it grows out really well. It's pretty easy to style compared to a lot of other funky haircuts.
Magna Richko, owner of Harari, says she's been doing mullets for years, only now everyone wants one.
Probably in the last 2 years, it's been just an epidemic of mini mullet. All ages and all textures as well, and it's very gender neutral, so it's men, women, non-binary people, everybody wants it.
So here's the thing with the mini mullets, you can create different looks, from the very classic polished mini mullet to the very edgy.
Some of them are just a little bit, more classic with just a taper or no hard lines or anything like that. So I feel like it all depends on, how crazy somebody wants to get and how creative they could be at work as well.
The versatile, edgy style that has Alicia Martinez coming back to try every version of the mini mullet.
I've had kind of the fringe with the mullet, kind of just more of a blunt, mullet. So now we're kind of do a middle part mullet.
A trendy look proving that everything old is new again. In Williamsburg, I'm Jessica Formoso, Fox 5 News.
Coming up next at noon, police in Ohio dealing with some Halloween tricks, how officers got hold of a spooky suspect in this pumpkin pursuit. We'll be right back.
All right, so we've got a clear sky here right now. This is the calm before the storm. High pressure's in control, but not for much longer. About another 24 hours, you'll start to see the clouds shifting up this way from our incoming nor'easter. It's just now taking shape off the coast, the east coast of Florida. This is the futurecast, and it rolls it right to the Carolinas later this evening into tonight. Then it comes through the mid-Atlantic region by Sunday morning. Clouds are thick here, and the rain really starts to shift in after midday. I'd say the heaviest rain comes through in the overnight hours Sunday into Monday, and we're not talking just rain. It's also wind, a persistent onshore wind. It's kind of a raw condition for you altogether as that coastal storm nor'easter cranks into town. It will slowly make its way through here as we get into Sunday and the holiday, Columbus Day. Wind speeds up to around 50 to 60 miles per hour. Plus, coastal flooding will be our issue, along with some heavy rain and perhaps some localized flooding as well. So stay tuned to Fox over the weekend. We'll give you all the details you need on it. Antoine, over to you.
All right, Mike, thanks. That is our show. But before we leave you, one last thing for you to see. An unusual police chase in Ohio. Now, this is body cam video from the Parma Heights Police Department, an area just outside of Cleveland. The officers had just caught a runaway inflatable pumpkin early Wednesday morning. Once it was caught, they had to figure out how to deflate it. Eventually, they did. No one was injured. The officers were then able to return it to its owner. No word if the pumpkin was originally really Emily Cinderella's carriage. All right, everybody. We'll see you back here Monday. 25 words or less is next. And if you want more news, tune into the Fox local streaming app right now. Stay safe.
And good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Newsroom Live on this Friday, October 10th, here from the Upper East Side in Manhattan. It is about 2 minutes after 1 o'clock. You can catch us every day at 1 p.m. from 1 until 1:30 on your Fox local app as well as on YouTube. And if you're watching, thanks for watching. You know, we got a lot to get to for you today. Number one, the weather here in the city and in the Northeast is expected to get really bad over the weekend. A possibility of a nor'easter could be hitting us. And they're saying that Sunday night could end up being the worst of this. High winds, possible flooding along the coast. We're going to get to that for you in just a few minutes. But before this, we're going to talk to you today about politics and lawsuits. Now, one of the lawsuits I'm talking about here today, New York State Attorney General Letitia James has been indicted by a federal grand jury out of Virginia. And the reason this case is coming out of Virginia is because the federal government, and keep in mind here, this is the Trump administration's Justice Department, they are alleging that when she bought a 3-bedroom apartment in Virginia, she had claimed that it was going to be her secondary residence. Her primary residence at the time was in Brooklyn. So she claimed it was going to be her secondary residence, but instead of using it for that, she ended up renting the 3-bedroom apartment to a family. So the Justice Department is alleging fraud, bank fraud, mortgage fraud. But I want you to keep in mind here, she is claiming that the Trump administration is now weaponizing the Justice Department in political revenge. The reason she's saying that is because she had filed a successful civil fraud lawsuit against the president back in 2023, and she won that lawsuit. At that time, President Trump and his defense team had accused her of weaponizing her power here in New York. So now the claim is being lodged from her against the Trump administration. So it's kind of a back and forth here, a tennis match going on back and forth, but using federal courtrooms to do it. Now, she says that she did absolutely nothing wrong. She addressed this issue yesterday, and we have sound from her right now. Let's go ahead and roll that.
These charges are baseless, and the president's own public statements make clear that his only goal is political retribution at any cost. The president's actions are a grave violation of our constitutional order and have drawn sharp criticism from members of both parties. His decision to fire a United States attorney who refused to bring charges against me and replace them with someone who is blindly loyal not to the law.
And again, the reason that this case is coming out of Virginia is because that's where she had bought an apartment. It was in Virginia. So now the U.S. Attorney's Office in Virginia has indicted her on these charges. Again, she is denying them. She says she has done nothing wrong. In the meantime, earlier this morning on Good Day New York, criminal defense attorney Arthur Aidala, you have seen him on Fox 5 many times, a brilliant legal expert here. He spoke with Kurt and Rosanna about this case, and he gave them some insight about it. So we're going to go ahead and roll that now.
Well, New York Attorney General Letitia James has been indicted, hit with federal fraud charges related to a mortgage taken on a home in Virginia.
All right, joining us right now to help us understand this, criminal defense attorney Arthur Aidala. We're all lawyered up this morning with you.
Yeah, it's I'll be honest with you. For me, it's like a sad day. Once again, I mean, I think you guys can go back and maybe play the tape of me here 2 years ago when Trump got indicted, not indicted, well, yeah, when he got indicted, but when he was charged by Letitia James for a very similar accusation. Like, this is not how the justice system is supposed to be used.
But they both accused each other of real estate fraud, basically.
Yeah, yes, that's what it is. They're both saying on these forms and these documents, and in both cases, there's really no victim. There's really nobody who got, even when under Trump, when he was found liable, the banks that were defrauded, they testified on his behalf,
and
saying we didn't lose any money. Right, we didn't lose any money. And here, I don't know, the taxpayers over a 30-year mortgage maybe are going to lose out on $18,000 over 30 years, which is a joke. You know, Letitia James ran as a prosecutor in her political campaigns saying that she was going to, if you elect me, I'm going to go after Donald Trump. And she said he wrote the art of the deal, but he was really the art of the steal. So she threw the first shot over the bow. And now he's back in office, and he's doing it to her.
But is she vulnerable?
And it stinks. It stinks.
Is she vulnerable?
I mean, it is. To say it's a strong case, I think would be a reach. I was not in the grand jury. I don't know what I think it's about checking off a box. And anybody who's done a closing, right? I'm a lawyer, and I've purchased a couple of homes in my life. The title closer comes in, gives you this pack of paper. You take out your pen, you're like, sign here, sign here, sign. Right. Like, no, only my father's the only guy who knows. Like, hold on, I got to read all of this. Right. But we don't read it. We just signed it. So apparently she checked off a box saying she was going to use it as a residence. They're saying, no, she didn't use it as a residence. She used it as a rental property. She's going to come back with a defense of saying, I have family members in there. They're not, they're not paying me rent. They're family members. It's not an income-producing property. So, but the bottom line is, guys, it bastardizes our system. They did it with Trump. It's equal. They did it with Trump with the criminal case, which is fugazi, and the civil case just got basically thrown out by a very liberal appellate division, a bunch of lawyers who would never be seen as being in Donald Trump's pocket.
Attorney General,
let me ask you this here. So how common is it, or is it uncommon, for the federal prosecutor to go after an individual case of mortgage fraud as opposed to, like, you know, big corporate cases or large cases?
Yeah, it's not. I mean, look, it's not. Look, I'm always honest with you guys, okay? There was a U.S. attorney in that particular jurisdiction who was respected, and he said, I'm not going to bring the charges. And now he's gone. And now there's a woman in there who was never a prosecutor. She's a lawyer. She was never a prosecutor in her life. And she did bring these charges. She was President Trump's, one of his personal attorneys, supposedly. I don't know her.
Lindsay Halligan is her name.
Yes, but I mean, I don't know her. I know a lot of his personal attorneys, but I don't know her. So, you know, she's going to go in and she's going to say, this is vindictive prosecution, it's malicious prosecution. She's going to ask a judge to dismiss the case. I would think that what Donald Trump, not President Trump, but Donald Trump is saying, hey, you put me through this, you put my son, both of my sons, you made my daughter come in and testify. You know, as any parent, you'd be seething that your children are taking the brunt for any of your actions or your political enemies. So he's saying, look, I don't care. I mean, I'm guessing.
Right.
But I don't care if this case gets dismissed. She's going to go down there. She's going to be processed like a criminal, the way I was up here. And it's a tit for tat, and it's not the way it should be. It shouldn't have been that way when they went after Trump, in my opinion. It shouldn't go that way after this. It's a bastard. You know, Justice Scalia, who is not exactly a friend of the criminal defendants, said it's not supposed to be you target an individual and then find the crime. You're supposed to target the crime and then find the individual who did it. And right here, you're talking about two people. The state attorney general said, I'm going to go after Trump. Then President Trump ran and he said, I'm going to go after her. That's not the way it's supposed to be.
So just to follow up on that then, we talk about when you get to trial, the merits of the case will determine guilt or innocence in front of a jury. But can the attorney general use that as a defense? That, hey,
no,
the first person came in and said no.
I understand your question.
Yeah.
Well, first of all, but you said in front of a jury. So they have brought this case against Letitia James, not in New York, where I think a jury would be very favorable to her, but in a jurisdiction where a jury may not be favorable to her. But flip it around. They brought the cases against Trump in a jurisdiction that would be very unfavorable to him. He got 17% of the vote in New York City, and that's where they went after him. So again, both sides are playing these games with our justice system, and I'm a lawyer first. I'm not a politician. I'm a lawyer first. I want the system to be as pure and as based on justice as possible, not based on politics. That's why federal judges are appointed forever. It's not supposed to be that politics plays a role. They're not supposed to make rulings that that's going to please the electorate. They're supposed to make rulings that please our Lady Justice, which is supposed to be blind. But here it's becoming a Republican, Democrat, and it's, for me as a lawyer, growing up, my grandfather was a lawyer, my father's a lawyer. It sounds dramatic, but it's heartbreaking that the system's being bastardized and used. This is called lawfare. And it's not, there are plenty of crimes out there. You know, you could call me, I'll help you. But there's plenty of crimes out there that the federal government and the state government should be pursuing that don't have nothing to do with politics.
All right, we're almost out of time. I want to ask you real quickly here. We had the developing story this morning that Jack Ciattarelli's campaign is planning on suing Mikey Sherrill over the comments that he caused tens of thousands of deaths in his previous career. Defamation of a public figure. How difficult is that to prove? Is there any legitimacy in this lawsuit?
Defamation against a public figure is hard to begin with. In a political campaign, it's even harder, because the foundation of our politics is to let people speak freely about what their thoughts are, what their ideas are, and we don't want to stifle that. So here they would have to prove actual malice, that she had a meeting and they said, let's bring this up. We know it's not true, but let's bring it up just to hurt him with the electorate. And it's a very high standard, and judges are not. The United States Supreme Court said this years ago in a New York Times case. We're not going to try to stifle public figures, especially ones who are running for office. And we're going to allow this kind of silly speech, if you want to call it that, to go forward.
All right. Our stage manager, you're going to wear her out. She's going,
I know. I'm sorry. Listen, these are very important, both of these. These are very important topics in the United States of America.
Lots of people have questions about it. When you hear these things, you don't know the legal aspects of it. So we thank you for coming in and clearing it up for us.
It's an honor to be able to serve the people of the city of New York, seriously.
All right. We appreciate you.
All right, there you have it. Criminal defense attorney Arthur Aidala giving his legal expertise on what's going on with that indictment now. It's a federal indictment against New York State Attorney General Letitia James. Joining me right now is our political expert, political reporter, Morgan McKay. So Morgan, thank you for being with us today.
Thank you.
So we are here to get her expertise on all things surrounding the mayor's race. One of the, I have to say, now I've been working at Fox 5 now for 32 years. This is one of the craziest, if not the craziest, election seasons that I've ever seen as far as a mayor's race. We got 25 days to go before the election. So do me a favor, talk to me about what's going on right now.
I mean, you're exactly right. Usually the Democratic primary usually solves the election, and you usually know who's likely going to be mayor at least by June, just because of how Democratic New York City is. It's really hard for a Republican to win usually.
Right.
But in this case, Curtis Lewa, the Republican nominee here, he actually has somewhat of a chance to win this election, and that's what he's been really pushing. And because of how votes might be split between the Democratic nominees Zohran Mamdani and Andrew Cuomo, who's an independent candidate who's also running, or he's running as an independent, but he's a Democrat. But Curtis Lewa, he received almost a third of the vote in the 2021 election. And so he really believes if he can get that same amount, there's a chance that he could pull the win for this election this November. And we're speaking with him later today. We have a half-hour politics show, 6:30 p.m. On Fox 5.
Politics Unusual,
Politics
so make sure
Unusual.
that you tune in for that, 6:30 tonight.
So we're going to be speaking with Curtis Lewa, and he's going to be speaking to us about really his plan. We're doing it with all three candidates. We're trying to do it with all three candidates. And he's going to be speaking about his plan for the city, like his actual plan. We wanted to dig into a little bit more, let him give his final pitch to voters. And so we focused on public safety, affordability, and education, some of the three top issues for New York City voters. And something I found really interesting in our interview is are two proposals for affordability that I feel like he's really been highlighting this month. And that is he wants to provide a $500 rebate check for New Yorkers who have to drive through the congestion pricing zone in order to alleviate some of the burden with that.
And I would imagine that that is going to resonate with a lot of people.
A lot of people.
Okay.
The issue with that is he would have to work with the city council on that. It's unclear if they would be able to or would want to go ahead and do something like that, because he also, to get that money, he wants to slash the budget, and he wants to cut, for example, education by $10 billion.
Okay, so I'm going to interrupt you here just for a second, because if he would win, he's a Republican. He's dealing with a city council that is really, in recent years, leaning more progressive left.
Yes.
So, and Mayor Adams has gone head-to-head with the city council on many issues, especially when it comes to public safety.
Yes.
So he's had a tough time, and he's a Democrat, and he's more in the middle, more centrist. And then what would be the chances of Curtis Lewa being able to get anything pushed through the city council? It would be extremely difficult.
It'd be extremely difficult. It would set up for a huge budget fight, probably that would last quite longer than we're used to. The budget is supposed to be, at least here in the city, is supposed to be done by July 1st. I can imagine that might be pushed a little bit further than July 1st. Now, he says that he would be able to work with the Democrats by trying to give each individual lawmaker something that they can bring back to their district. He says he wants to go into their districts, for example, and say, we'll give you money for this park that you wanted if you go ahead and vote on something that I want. So he's kind of trying to set up for a budget negotiation, I guess, between individual lawmakers.
Okay.
Something else that he's proposing is freezing the income tax in New York City for New Yorkers under the age of 30 who've also graduated from a New York university, in order to encourage younger adults to stay here in New York City despite how expensive it is.
But can he do that on his own?
He cannot. He would need the state legislature to do that.
See, there you go.
Again, the state
Right.
legislature is also going to be dealing with its own budget hurdles next year. They're going to be dealing with a major budget gap, potentially upwards of $13 billion if some of these federal cuts go through.
Right.
So
on top of that, Governor Hochul's running for re-election in 2026.
Exactly.
So she is going to be very trepidatious about doing anything that's going to hurt her chances of being re-elected.
Exactly. So we also talked about his goal for education as well. He says that he wants to bring vocational studies into schools more often right now. He says that a lot of those studies have been cut, and he wants students to have hands-on training. So it's not all about necessarily books. He also wants to give them opportunity to learn things like mechanics and stuff like that.
Right.
Now, we also are doing something fun for each one of our candidates. Are giving them a sort of political trick or treat, and they get to pick a
Halloween
question.
coming up.
Exactly.
Okay.
And so Curtis Lewa, he chose a question that asked him, what political New York City event would you go back to in time if you got a chance?
And don't give us the answer.
I won't give you the answer. So you guys can all tune in at 6:30 p.m. for that. So.
Yeah, for Politics Unusual with Morgan Mackay. All right, good. So we've got that tease going there. Make sure you tune in tonight at 6:30. What's going on, though, with Cuomo? Because everybody right now, Mamdani has, in the latest polls, what, 46, 47%? What is it? Am I right about that?
So Mamdani has about 46%, and then in the latest Quinnipiac poll, and then I believe Cuomo has about 33%. So Mamdani has a 13-point lead, but Cuomo saw in this latest poll a 10-point jump after Mayor Eric Adams dropped out of the race. So presumably a lot of Adams supporters went to Cuomo, which is what he was hoping for.
Okay, but at the end of the day, we never really know if these polls are going to be accurate or not, because we have known from previous elections where they were totally wrong. And then you have Sliwa. Where's he polling?
So
around
he's
17%.
He's polling at like 15%.
Okay.
He was around 15%. He's been staying around that 15%. I know he was hoping to get some of Adam's supporters, but like you mentioned, the polls can only provide a snapshot of what people are thinking.
Right.
It doesn't necessarily guarantee that they're actually going to go out to the polls, that they're actually going to be motivated for some of these candidates to actually show up. So we're gonna have to see. But yeah, Cuomo is really going off of this 10-point jump. They're really pushing this forward. They just came out with their second TV ad today. He's also receiving a lot of Adams donors. He received about $2 million in public matching funds in this latest round on Thursday. And Sliwa received a little over $1 million, and Mamdani has already capped out. So he has already reached the maximum amount that he can raise for this general election.
And, you know, talking about Sliwa, you know, the mayor dropped out, and we all really knew eventually that was probably going to happen. Then Sliwa now, every single time, he vehemently denies that there is any possibility that he's going to be dropping out of the race. Does that still stand today? I mean, is he still moving ahead full throttle with this?
He says absolutely he's staying in the race. The only way to get him out of the race is if he were to drop dead. However, now he is getting death threats, he says, and he has now hired a security team, he said, for the first time in his life. So he said that he's received death threats against his wife as well. So he has a security team for his wife. So, you know, what makes America great is that we can have political differences and not choose violence. So really disheartening to hear. But Mamdani also has faced death threats as well. One person who threatened him is actually in jail right now, being charged for allegedly making these threats. So almost 3 weeks until the election, and then Mamdani today out with the Attorney General Letitia James, speaking about Attorney General Letitia James.
Right. Coming out in support of her.
Yes.
Again, we're circling back to the federal indictment against Letitia James from the Trump Justice Department that's coming out of Virginia.
And Cuomo and Mamdani took a shot at Cuomo today and yesterday because Cuomo issued this statement in response to this indictment against Attorney General Letitia James. Everyone, a lot of the candidates and local Democratic leaders came out with statements in support of Attorney General James. Cuomo came out with a statement. He didn't mention James by name, but he did say that it's important to have due process. It's important for law and order. Definitely a jab, though, still at James, because there's a lot of bitterness, I guess, between the two of them.
Major animosity between the two of them, that's right. And because she was one of those who was very outspoken against him when he was the governor with the sexual harassment scandal and also the, during COVID, the nursing home, the number of nursing home deaths. So she was one of the leaders in getting him to resign. She was a major pusher behind that.
Exactly. In January of 2021, she came out with a nursing home report that showed that the state, Cuomo, was undercounting nursing home deaths by more than 50% after months of Cuomo resisting and denying and didn't want to release those numbers. They were counting nursing home deaths as hospital deaths, and they had to end up updating those numbers. And then just a few months later, later in the fall, she came out with that report, and she led that investigation looking into the sexual harassment allegations against Cuomo, and then came out with a report confirming that more than a dozen women say that they were sexually harassed by Cuomo. So, and shortly after that, he ended up resigning. So he definitely has a lot of animosity towards her, and you saw it a little bit, I guess, in that statement. It was a little bit of a slight jab, while also talking about how
support.
talking about how it's important to have due process.
That's right, and that you cannot weaponize the justice system.
Exactly.
That he's not in support of that.
Exactly.
All right. Okay, Morgan McKay, thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you.
Make sure that you tune in 6:30 tonight for Politics Unusual. That's her special, and it's an excellent, here we go, excellent political show. It's every Friday night at 6:30. And when else can we see it, Morgan?
It'll also be 8:30 p.m. on My 9 New Jersey, and then if you check fox5ny.com on our website, our YouTube, you'll be able to catch the show as well.
All right, beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you, Linda. Thank you, guys.
There is never a lack of anything to talk about when it comes to politics,
I honestly am just counting down the day. I feel like we've been covering this mayor's race now
for
all
like
year.
7 years.
Yes, it's been all year because we had such a busy primary. There were 8 candidates in the primary, and now we're down to 3 somehow.
That's right.
But
that's right. 25 days to go.
Yeah.
All right, Morgan, thanks. Okay, we're going to be back in just a moment. It is 1:25. I'm Linda Schmidt. This is Newsroom Live here on the Upper East Side in Manhattan, and we're going to be talking about that possible nor'easter heading our way, so stay tuned. And welcome back to Newsroom Live here on the Upper East Side of Manhattan from the Fox 5 Newsroom. I'm Linda Schmidt with Fox 5 News. It's 1:27 on this Friday, October 10th. It's a great day. That was a beautiful shot there of the city. Can we go back to that? Of course. Gorgeous. You can even see some blue in the sky. I mean, the temperatures are getting colder. I don't really like that. I like it when it's about 80 degrees, but it is fall, and it is a gorgeous day. However, sorry to tell you this, we've got a dangerous nor'easter that could be heading our way. Meteorologists are saying that this thing could end up hitting us over the weekend. Sunday night is expected to be the worst of it. They're talking about high winds with gusts of up to 60 miles per hour, heavy-duty rain, flooding along the coast, the Jersey Shore, also New York, and south of Jersey as well. You can see from the map there as that storm is starting to move up the coast. The National Weather Service has issued high wind watches for the weekend, as well as coastal flood watches. High tide, that could bring some flooding in both Jersey and New York, so keep an eye open for that. And carry an umbrella with you, and if you have anything outside, batten down the hatches, because the wind, it is going to be whipping around out there this weekend. So good luck with that. You know, heed the warning. Right now, don't be fooled. It's gorgeous outside, but it is going to change in the next 24 to 48 hours. Okay, one last thing here. We're going to end on something fun. This is a exercise segment that aired on Good Day New York yesterday. We're going to go ahead and show that. And an exercise expert who's in amazing shape came on. And if we can go ahead and roll that video. On Good
Fitness
Day.
expert Jennifer Jacob is one of Ladder's premier
Now, this is
personal
what she
trainers,
looks like,
helping
but what
users
she
build
does for
strength
people
and
working
muscle
out
with
at
safe
home,
exercises in
she
the
says
comfort
that you can
of
take
your
your
own home.
16-ounce
Her
water
latest
bottles
program
and exercise with them. You're about to see Kurt and Rosanna do that. We're going to get to that video here in just a second, like a water bottle like this. And she's talking about how you can actually use these water bottles at home and you can exercise with them, and they will help you trim down or build up a little bit of muscle. Now, they had some demonstrations of it, but basically, I don't know if we're going to get to that in time. Can we fast forward it real quick? There we go. Yes, look at those. Look at those heavy water bottles. I got mine out right here. I saw this.
Keep food on the table because Democrats, Chuck Schumer, and his colleagues in the Senate are here playing games. Republicans have voted over and over to end this madness and reopen the federal government. We did our job. By way of reminder, the House passed a clean